Sexual dissatisfaction. Hi, I'm Bec from Be Free Emotional Fitness Training, and I support women and girls to become emotionally stronger.
And I'm Vern from Move Forward Mentoring, and I specialise in male mentoring, helping boys and men find their passion, speak from their heart, and build better relationships.
And together we are rekindling relationships. We work with couples through mentoring sessions as well as facilitating communication and creative workshops to build deeper connections.
Welcome to our podcast, designed to help you strengthen and bring more fun into your partnership, as well as create a more loving, healthy, and strong connection.
Hello everyone.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our new season, which is the 7 issues that we might face with intimacy.
Yeah, we noticed that Sex Drives was one of our most popular podcasts.
Yeah,
so we've
like one of our most downloaded,
pulled this apart a bit more in this series, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think that intimacy and sexual needs between couples is huge, isn't it? It's really important.
Yeah, and it can cause big problems if there is underlying problems there.
And so let's talk about sexual dissatisfaction. What is it?
It's being dissatisfied with your sex in basic terms.
Dissatisfied with what's going on for you right now in your relationship.
And you might feel like there's something missing. It's not quite right.
Yeah, there's something, it's not gelling in the relationship. You're not really happy with how you are together and the intimacy you share.
There's no sparks happening.
Yeah, there's like a real lack of connection. There's something going on.
Something not quite right. You can't explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not getting your needs met, are you?
No.
And not getting your needs met is really common. There's some research came out a couple of years ago which showed that from millennials to boomers, amongst women, 60 to 70% of them don't feel sexually satisfied, which is about 2/3 of them do not feel satisfied in their relationships.
That's a lot. Why do you think this is a problem?
Well, they talk about the fact that millennials have grown up with this very access online to everything. You know, they might have grown up watching porn. They might believe that that's actually the way sex is. That's how you do it. And then when they step into a bedroom, it's a very different thing. Speaking as a man, if you've grown up and you think that porn is actually real, or you view it as this is the way you do it, then it's a very physical act, very dominating act. You have to act a certain way. It's all about prowess. It's not about connection or intimacy. It's not about a closeness with the other person. So if you believe that's how you are supposed to act in the bedroom and that's all you give in the bedroom, then you miss out. Both parties obviously miss out because they're not getting the really deep, beautiful, intimate connection that sex can bring to a relationship. They're just getting this visual.
The expectation isn't realistic.
No, for women or probably for both, there is this idea that they've got to look a certain way and they've got to act a certain way in this space.
And then that creates a low self-esteem, doesn't it? If you're exposed to images of these perfect looking people, it creates this low self-esteem.
Yeah, because you never match up to it.
Yeah, and then that can create sexual problems in the bedroom, can't it, if you have low self-esteem?
Also means you spend a lot of time in your head as well, which is a shame because really you should be in your body and you should be just enjoying your own body and what that feels in your own body and what the pleasure you're giving to the other person rather than trying to overthink every single, how do I look from this angle? Am I doing this right? Am I in the right position? Do you know, all the blah, blah and all the story that happens?
Yeah, it has created this poor body image, hasn't it? If we expose ourselves a lot to feeding on this information of social media and people looking amazingly perfect, it's obviously going to create, especially in younger women, this low self-esteem and self-respect.
And I think that also occurs in younger men as well because now men have to have six packs. They've got to have muscle in all sorts of places. I think it affects both of them and they both will not feel satisfied because they're both in their head maybe about how they should be looking or what they should be doing rather than what's actually happening in there.
There's no depth.
There's no depth. I think another part of sexual dissatisfaction is the lack of communication. Most of us have grown up not having conversations about sex in a very casual, easygoing way. We don't talk about it as such. We don't talk about it. Anything you learned at school was don't have sex because if you do, you get a sexual disease, or you get pregnant. So there's always these negatives. They don't talk about intimacy. And as an adult, your parents generally don't talk to you about it. It's quite awkward to have a conversation with your parents about sex.
Oh, you don't want to talk to your parents about sex. Who does?
No. No.
That's way too awkward.
See the expression on your face.
Ew. Pretty sure I'm not the only person out there that thinks that.
But I mean, if we'd learned...
You'd hope they've got an older, mature friend they want to talk to about it. Like,
but the reality
you don't
of
want
it
to talk
is,
to your parents.
don't talk to your parents. But the reality of it is like, you know, intimacy is something which we don't actually have a conversation about ever. So how do we get our needs met?
We have to be careful when we have this conversation with our partner about getting our needs met or what we enjoy and what we'd like to see happen a bit more in the bedroom. I think that we have to do it in a way of curiosity and playfulness, not in a way of being critical and going, oh, you're not doing this thing for me, or I'm not happy with this, because I think that will create the opposite effect, won't it? But if you go into it with the intention of being, hey, I want this to be better for us, and I want to have a bit more fun, and I'm curious about this, what do you think? Rather than it being a bit critical, I think you have to be very mindful of.
It is about having that conversation about what you might like or how we can meet each other's needs. It seems like an awkward conversation. Like you'll ask your partner, you know, what sort of clothes they like to wear if you want to buy them something, or you'll ask them how they like their eggs cooked. But we're really scared about asking them what they want sexually because there's a belief that maybe we might be laughed at or rejected or seen as being overtly sexual or something. You know, there's a story behind it rather than, oh, I would like us both to enjoy intimacy more.
What do you suggest to people who do find this conversation awkward? I mean, I know you're a very open book and you don't find anything awkward really to talk about. But there are people out there, like you said, that would be like, oh my God, this is such an awkward conversation to have. How do I have that conversation with my partner because I'm feeling dissatisfied? What do you suggest to them?
I think that the conversation is vitally important because, yeah, you might feel like, oh, this is awkward. But if you leave it, then what will happen is then the relationship will slowly pull away from each other. People will start looking outside of the relationship to get those needs met that they're not getting met in the relationship. It will create conflict and more drama if the people are feeling dissatisfied and they're not having a conversation. Oh, yes, it might be awkward, but the reality of it is the other side of it is you might lose the relationship. And sometimes that might be a good idea. In some ways, you might not be sexually compatible. You might have completely different sex drives. You might not be able to make it work, but you don't know until you actually have a conversation about it. If you have not had a conversation, I think that you have to find a time to sit down, one that works for both of you, one where you can have a conversation. It's not late at night in bed. It's one where you're both feeling very relaxed and that you both know you're going to have this conversation as well, like giving a little bit of warning. I really like to talk about intimacy. Can we speak about that? I'd really like to speak about intimacy. I'd really like to talk about how we can be more intimate together in the bedroom or pretty much anywhere, you know, the laundry, the bathroom.
Whatever takes your
Whatever
fancy.
takes your fancy. Washing machines are good. And like you said before, it's about not shaming or blaming the other person and saying you're doing it wrong. It's saying, I would love for this to happen in this space. I would love for more touch, less of for this intimate space to be just about sex. And I think that's something where people get this idea, oh, we're in bed now we have to have sex. It could be we're in bed now, let's touch each other, let's stroke each other. I think that some people need more foreplay than others.
And my advice would be, and I guess I'm talking to people out there that identify as female, would be to really reflect on yourself and go, actually, is it my self-esteem that might be a little bit challenged? And if it is, that's okay. Own that. But maybe say that to your partner. Say, I feel just like I'm not feeling sexy in this way, or I'm feeling like my self-esteem isn't quite, up to par, which could be hindering how I am in the bedroom. And have that conversation because they might be able to help you through that too. They might be able to really help you talk that out. And what's happening for you. Because I know that can be a big problem for people that identify as female.
Well, from my perspective, for people who identify as male, I think that where it's believed that we just want sex, we actually want a deep connection. We want deep intimacy. We just don't know how to go about doing it.
Yeah.
And for people in general, I would say slow down. Slow everything down. Take it to just lots of kissing, lots of hand holding, lots of squeezes, bum squeezes, or when someone feels loved and that they're attractive
And safe.
then they're more likely to want to step into
It'll go
intimate
deeper.
space.
And I think you'll have more satisfaction. That'll come automatically with those key things.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got to feel safe. You've got to feel there's trust in the relationship.
100%.
Or if you think that person just after sex all the time.
You'll always have that wall up. You'll never go deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think being sexually satisfied is both partners have to come to the table on this. It can't just be, oh, well, you need to do this thing to make me satisfied. It's, we need to work together and we need to build trust in our relationship and we need to have a conversation about what we like, and that will then lead to more satisfaction.
Yeah. Have a conversation.
It's always about having a conversation. There's also, there's other things you can do. We love a little game which we call the 2-minute game or the Spotify game. Depends on what you're listening to. You could be listening to on Apple, but it's about putting on a really slow, chilled or loud or a playlist of songs that you both like. And then for a song, I say, I'd like you to touch me in this way. I'd like you to grope my thighs. I'd like you to massage my bum. I'd like you to scratch my head. And then you do that for the song. And then there's a break. And then the next song, you get to choose.
And that's a fun way to say what you would like to your partner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an easy way to say what you're satisfied. And it's not supposed to lead to sex.
Just having fun.
It's not supposed to lead to intercourse. It's just to have fun. If it does, great. But that's something that you're both at that point where you wanted to do. And that's being really aware of the other person, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do they want? I know what I might want in this space. Am I really open to seeing what they want? Yeah. Are they ready yet? Or maybe they don't want to go there. Yeah. And if I can meet their needs in that space, then my needs can also get met as well.
It's a great game. I really strongly suggest having a go of that game. It's good fun.
Thanks so much for listening to our first of our 7 issues with intimacy. Join us for our next episode, which is
Sexual Disconnection. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and follow us.
And check out our website at rekindlingrelationships.com.
Bye for now.
See ya.